So, ladies and gents, from one predatory animal to another, we're going to be talking about Predator Hunting Grounds, which is an asymmetrical multiplayer shooter that pits a sole predator against an elite fire team composed of mere humans. This was first announced as a PS4 exclusive. The shooter is now confirmed for PC and is expected to release on April 20th. This weekend, we had the chance to trial Predator Hunting Grounds on PS4 and PC. And myself, Brendan, and Mike were able to have a few games. So I'm going to throw this straight out to you guys. What were your initial thoughts?
Would you just quickly, Tony, just for the initial thoughts, if it's all right, I'll go first. Would you just read that introduction you read about the game just again?
Yeah.
Because I want to pick up on a quick point.
Okay. Predator Hunting Grounds is an asymmetrical multiplayer shooter that pits a sole predator against an elite fire team composed of...
You can stop there. Pits a sole predator. It's been an absolute nightmare trying to play this game as the predator. As we record, right, and you did the introduction spot on, we've had a game amongst ourselves. This is our experience. This is our review.
Your experience, Predator.
Okay, my experience as Predator was, it took me about, on day one, I didn't have an experience as Predator other than on the single player tutorial to kind of play as Predator. I spent, I would say, 40 minutes trying to get into a lobby to play as the Predator, and I had no luck. Luckily enough today...
Do you think this is a kind of case of, like, because of the situation that we're seeing ourselves in, everyone's at home, everyone's going to be playing video games, everyone's going to be watching TV. Do you think... I think that might be a kind... I mean, I know that they released this trial demo version, and I think that a lot of their servers weren't capable of handling the amount of people that would be playing this. Because we're talking about a very famous IP here as well, by the way. So you have to remember that. So the studio Ilphonic, who did the Friday the 13th, the game, which I've played, when you're doing a kind of film a game adaptation of a film, a very famous film, a lot of people are going to be interested in that. So do you think this was a kind of case of there was just too many people?
Possibly, I would guess so, yeah. But then in the same breath, I would say that these companies need to expect that. They did know, again, your expertise on the kind of company who ran it is that's not my kind of, I just play the games, but they should have known. They should have known that everybody's at home right now. Everybody's looking to log into and try something new. They're going to do a trial version of a game. Okay, and that's where you can give this entire review of Predator Hunting Grounds, because let's be blunt, it's officially called the trial. When you actually look at I've actually got my PlayStation on my screen now, and it's Predator Hunting Grounds trial. It's a trial version of the game. I don't like traffic as an excuse from developers, especially now. They kind of know everyone's online. So I don't accept that. It's understandable. There's way more than expected. They may have had this date in the pipeline for months, but they could have delayed that. They chose not to. So, we managed to get a game. I managed to get a game as the Predator. It was a pain in the ass getting the Predator.
You open up a... No, actually, I'm just going to... Sorry, Brendan, stop you there for a second, because you open a very good dialogue in that respect of servers and stuff like that. But let's put a bookmark on that for a second. Let's get into the actual game itself.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. My experience, once I got into the game, and once I managed to today, and I was in a session with both yourself and Mike, where you guys were on the opposing team and I was the Predator. There's a few, my initial review of the game, let's just go as the Predator, because I'm not a first person guy. as the months and as the pods will come out in future. I don't like first-person games. I just can't really do them. They make me feel sick.
You get motion sickness.
I get motion sickness with first-person games. It's really weird, so I don't really do them. So the marine side of this game, which we'll get into, isn't my bag. But the third-person Predator, it was intriguing. When I did the trial, or the tutorial, I found the controls really kind of laggy. The perspective of where you're looking wasn't very good. When you went into the kind of heat seek, what do you call that when you're
the predator vision,
predator vision, thermal vision, perfect. Yeah. The thermal vision, I found that quite difficult as well, where you could I think a flaw is you actually have to be really close to the target or wherever it is to see the heat vision, which might be understandable. I don't know the schematics of the Predators and their technology. I need to speak to one. But I found it, the way I would describe it, I found it unresponsive, hard to control, not very good to navigate. I couldn't quite see and I didn't have a great fun time of it. Now, in contrast, when we logged on today and the three of us managed to get a session when we were playing together, we had just to let everyone who's listening know, we did have the party chat on, so we were talking into each other as we were playing. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the tutorial. I found it quite difficult to kind of control my character, but maybe that's it. It definitely seems like it's a game based on unlockables and things like that. I won't go into that detail, but as you progress and get a higher XP and a higher grade, your aim will probably progress, your the power of your shots will progress.
There is an element of that. Like, just to stop you there, sorry, Brendan. There is that element of as you level up, you unlock a lot of sort of like things for your weapons, so you can get recoil. You can get, precision aim for your guns. You can get perks for your character, sort of thing. That's all part of upgrading your character or upgrading your marine or your soldier, whatever it may be. Bookmark that. Sorry, so there's two things to bookmark right now. I want to get Mike's opinion on this because I know like Mike is a big fan of like the whole like Alien Isolation. Predator, like all those kind of monster movies of the 80s. This is the kind of question I'm going to put out to both of you, really. It's is this a kind of game that's banking on people's nostalgia for that kind of era of gaming? Because we've seen I don't know if you guys have seen the most recent Predator films and the most recent Alien films. There's a lot of diversity in regards of how that goes. But Mike, I kind of wanted to get your opinion on the game itself and like how you felt with this, and would this be something that you would post trailer or trial era? Would you buy this game?
Okay, so my first reaction when we turned it on, first game, I think it was Friday, but it was horrendous. It looked awful. There was no smoothness on the screen. It was like a PlayStation 2 game. It was really not nice. Yeah, obviously being a first-person shooter fan, you know what you expect in the game. Obviously, Call of Duty, things like that, they set the benchmark. So if you're coming in the market anywhere below that, you're already missing out on a massive part of the market. It's like you wouldn't make.
But this isn't a AAA studio, by the way.
I don't think it really matters to the gamer. Your average gamer doesn't know about a AAA studio or Category A release and stuff like that. They don't know. They don't care.
I disagree, man. I'm going to disagree.
No.
If you walked into a game and you asked 10 people at the counter, do you know what a AAA studio represents? How many of those people, Tony, would say, yes, I do? And
I think the majority would say yes.
No, I very much doubt that.
A gamer would know. A gamer would know. That's all I'm saying. But go on. Continue, Mike. Sorry, continue.
So to carry on with that, it's like you wouldn't make, even as a non-AAA studio, if you were to make a football game, which people would love to do, if you can't get it to the standard of FIFA, there is no point. And I feel like that was my first reaction on that. Having gone back and played it again a bit more extensively, again, you do get into it. The gameplay is not as bad as I first thought. You get used to the graphics, which I suppose is neither here nor there. You shouldn't really have to be just waiting to adjust to them. But the gameplay itself is...
Sorry to jump in there. I'm going to interrupt you really quick, Mike, just because I didn't get that chance. I think the graphics on this are terrible. If you look at the close-ups on the Predator are quite cool and quite detailed. Everything else is shit. Sorry to interrupt, Mike. I do apologise.
Absolutely fine.
Came in with that hand grenade of a comment there, Bren.
In regards to graphics, I think
do you think I
really
see the
poor.
thing is right. Okay, here's my point. This isn't a AAA studio, right? They did the kind of Friday the 13th game, which had its flaws, but also was a good... What they're trying to do is a good multiplayer aspect. And that's what I get from these guys. And that's what I got from this. Like you were saying, Brendan, about the fact that like when you logged on the first time, you know,
I'm
if
just
you're playing...
trying to grab my PlayStation controller because I do. We might as well, like, that's the point of this podcast. We have our debate. I take umbrage to this concept of a AAA game, right?
Why do you take umbrage to what?
Because
what do you take umbrage to exactly?
I'll update you with what I'm doing. I'm logging in to see how much this game costs.
Okay.
And how much it costs.
All right, you're talking about something like EA. EA can put something out there which is going to be like some.
Tony,
you know,
I understand that. I get, like, don't get me wrong. I get the concept of a AAA game.
Right.
I do. I understand the basics behind it, but
and this isn't that.
A consumer, it totally isn't that. In fact, it's.
Are we talking about the fact that like it's taken an IP that you cherish and love, like back in the day, sort of thing, which I do as well.
I'd be honest. I would say I'm not actually the biggest of Predator fans. I don't think I'd fall under anywhere near the same category that you and Mike would in that regards, because I know you're massive fans. Like, I know you guys kind of read the comics and have kind of
This is my question to Mike. Like, in terms of how they kind of
hold on the AAA concept. I understand what a AAA game is.
Call of Duty Warzone is a AAA game.
Yeah. A customer shouldn't have to understand what a AAA game is. If you're given the choice between game A and game B, and I'm actually just going into purchase now to see how much they're asking. If, as an example, let's just go into because we have Red Dead Redemption 2 by Rockstar, which is a AAA game, if you can't give a better example of one, and then we have Predator, Hunting Grounds, which isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just as we speak, I'm just literally waiting.
The thing is, I don't really see what your point is here, Bren. Like, what are you trying to say?
If you're going to judge a game based on and judge it on a different degree, so if you're going to say this isn't a AAA game, so I'm going to review it.
But this is a multiplayer game. There's a lot of like multiplayer sort of games like in this ilk.
I'm talking about any AAA game. If you're going to review a game that isn't a AAA game in a different way because it's a AAA game, but it costs the same price for the customer to buy.
Well, of course it's going to be. That's always going to be the way. That's gaming. Come on. Like, to a certain extent. Well, it depends. Like, if you get this on PC, if you get this on PS4, there's a lot of independent games out there that you can.
I totally see where you're coming from. But if Red Dead Redemption 2 costs me £60 and Predator Hunting Grounds cost me £60. I'm going to review them in the exact same way. AAA has no significance to the cost in my wallet or the consumer's wallet, so I'm not going to give it any leeway. So Red Dead Redemption 2 may be my 9 out of 10. Therefore, this is a 2 out of 10 because if I give it leeway that it's not AAA and it doesn't have the budget and it's not all those details, I might have given it a 6. But quite frankly, if I review them on the same basis, the concept of a AAA and judging them differently to the customer, I totally see this. This is an online game. That's what this is.
But of course, but this is the whole point. The whole point of this game is that it's like a kind of Left 4 Dead sort of like type of game. It's a multiplayer game. You know that you have to go in with other people. You can't. That's the difference. Like I'm going to say, like as you're saying, Red Dead Redemption is a very solo player game. You can play that
exclusive. We have an exclusive live on the podcast. You cannot pre-purchase Predator Hunting Grounds anymore. They've pulled it off the PlayStation Store.
Well, that's interesting because that's probably going from what people have said from this weekend. And this is the reason.
We're going to have Twitter going crazy in the morning, lads.
Yeah, probably. But like, I think so, Mike. So just going back to you, Mike. I just want to. I think we're veering off a little bit. We're going a bit into more politics of like gaming and stuff like that. But what were your reactions of the game itself? You said originally that when you first played it, you weren't a fan, but after playing it with us,
so it was a lot more fun, right? And I did enjoy it. But like we were talking about, if I'm looking at this as a game, would I buy this? Because I suppose that's obviously playing the beta is.
That's it. At the end of the day, that's right? What. Would you buy this?
So I've enjoyed this game this evening with you guys, which is fine. Depending on what the price point of this game is very, very much how much I've got interest in this. Simply, I was thinking about this after I played it. If it wasn't a Predator game, and I played this game, would I have any interest in buying it? And the answer is absolutely not, because nothing else in the game is up to the standard I expect from a first-person shooter now. So taking away the Predator, am I then paying the same amount, say 40, 50 quid or whatever it's going to be for that game? And it's definitely not.
Have you guys like ever played like Dead by Daylight or any kind of like game of this kind of ilk where you're like set in a kind of like stadium and there's like a killer or a kind of stalker or in this case a predator and there's like 4 other people that are like running around doing objectives and stuff like that? Because on PC, I personally would see this game on PlayStation 4.
You sound quite defensive, Tony. You know.
No. I'm just saying.
Did you work on this game?
Hang on.
Oh, you listen to it. Do you hear that, Mike? He's got his gloves up, mate. He's like olden guys.
Listen, there's flaws. There's flaws about this game that I will go into. But all I'm trying to say is, on this particular instance, I wouldn't expect to pay more than £30 for this game.
Lads, I have it on my screen right now. Predator Hunting Grounds is $49.99.
And I'm not buying it.
Totally overpriced.
Yeah, like, I agree. But I'll tell you my reasons why I played this the trial weekend.
Yeah, well, tell us what you enjoy, man, because there's clearly there's elements you enjoy, and you are a massive Predator fan. So tell us because to be blunt, this is probably your review is probably the best review for like hardcore Predator fans. Like, so tell us what's rocking.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but like, I mean, this is the reason why I love these type of games. I love the type of games where you can get a group of people like together and do that kind of like Left 4 Dead, Dead by Daylight sort of style. You know, someone's stalking you, and you're. I don't like being the Predator in this kind of like. I've got the Friday the 13th game. I hate playing as Jason. I don't like playing as the stalker. I like playing as the kind of person trying to get away or, you know, trying to find the things to get away and all that kind of stuff. And the same thing here. It's the same exact kind of concept. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of flaws in this game. The AI for the Guerrillas is terrible. There's so many times where I've just seen ridiculous. Like enemy AI. They're just standing there, not doing anything, and you shoot them in the head.
Just looking at you.
Yeah. And I know they're there for as an irritant. They're there to distract you from the main big bad, which is the Predator. I get that. but there should be a kind of threat from them, and there's not.
Yeah. Quick question, while you're on the AI, because I'm not a first-person guy, and it's one of two things. But did you guys find that it took, and I don't know in first-person games, it took a lot of bullets to kind of put down the AI, or did I just have a shit aim? Because I was finding I'd have to literally shoot them about 7 times.
What, the Guerrillas, like the actual NPC,
NPC, just normal characters.
No, I didn't find that at all. Like,
I've just got a shit aim. No, that's good. It's good to know.
No,
I agree with you, Brendan. I found them, quite a lot of shots to take. But
God, they were. You're a full-blown first-person gamer.
Yeah, but I did adjust quickly, because if you get in with a headshot, they went down instantly. That was one thing I did notice.
Yeah.
Even with the hand going straight out.
I mean, the thing that I found, the games that I've played, I downed the Predator quite a few times. Like, he's as much as a threat that he is, or she is, because there's female Predators as well. The fact is that you can actually down the Predator, and you can kill the Predator in this, which I like. I like the fact that he's not this, like, for example, just to throw it out there with the kind of Alien Isolation, you could have like a flamethrower and everything like that. You can't kill the alien in Alien Isolation. You can distract it, or you can make it go up a tube. With this, it's like you can kill the thing. Like, you can make it bend his knee in that respect and shoot his face plate off and all that kind of stuff. I like that kind of element of it, because it's like whoever's playing the Predator has to do it in a kind of way that's like, you've got to be kind of sneaky. Like, you've got to pick and choose, which I like. I like that element of it. It's like, you're not just this indestructible machine. Like, you have to kind of pick and choose where you want to select people to kind of take them out. And even if you do go like toe to toe, most of the time the Predator will get you down. But then your other soldiers will come in, hopefully, and help you out. And that's the whole point. This is the element I like of it. It's like, you have to be in communication with your other teammates. You have to say, like, look, he's here. I'm going to ping him. He's there. Let's get this guy. Or you could just do the objectives and then try to get away. Like, there's a lot of elements that I like about it, but there's also a lot of elements that I don't like about it.
Quick question. Is there a story mode in the full version, or is this a complete online multiplayer game?
As far as I'm aware, there's no story mode. I think this is going to be just a kind of multiplayer type affair. Yeah.
And when is this due for release?
24th of April, so soon.
Oh wow, you are joking.
Yeah. No, it's like
in a month.
Yeah, I think this trial, like whenever when these trials come out, and this is going back to one of the bookmarks that you said, Brendan. When these trials come out, they're not going to make any, like, the product is done, right? They're not going to go back. They're not going to do a Sonic, right? They're not going to do a Sonic and change a lot of things. This is literally, I think, for
they need to do a Sonic. They need to do a Sonic.
In what regard?
I don't know what your opinion is, Mike. This game, this is not a. If they're releasing this in a month's time and they think they could fix what's already not working in today, in a month, they're releasing the full game in a month for £50. They're mugging people off.
But then this goes into my kind of like, how many people can get this just based off nostalgia, based off that kind of like,
totally. That's why I think they're taking. And I'm actually seeing this is a Sony game. Is this a Sony game? Sony Interactive Europe?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh wow! So it's not like they don't have the budget.
But what I will say, you said I was getting defensive earlier. All I'm getting defensive about is I think the developer, Ilphonic, the only thing I'm getting defensive about is that they are fans of the franchise. They were fans of Friday the 13th. I think they're massive fans of Predator. You can see that in all the kind of like little nuances, like when you start the mission as a soldier and you see the kind of the beeping, the sounds that they have in this game are, basically from the original Predator movie. You've got what's his name, Alan Silvestri's soundtrack, like bang, you got that. You've got even like in the helicopter when you're dropping off as a soldier, you've got that beep beep You know, you got all the sound, you got the birds cheeping in the background and stuff like that are from like the film. Like, I don't know what animals they are, but they've done their research, they've done their homework, they've done a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of passion in this, and that's why I'm defending Ilphonic, because I feel that they have done a bang up job in recreating a type of, you know, the IP. Like, you feel like when you're the Predator and you're playing the Predator well, you feel like the Predator. When you're playing as the soldiers and you're just trying to get around and all that kind of stuff, you do feel like that. And the noises, like the little clacking of the, you know, the Predator. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it like that. All that kind of shit. That was my Chewbacca. You know what I mean? The sounds that the Predator makes, I can't do it. But
we know.
So what you're saying is, Tony, to summarize what you're saying is, because I love the way you preempted that with the nostalgia talk. Yeah. They've completely, like, they've literally thrown that reel into the pond and they've just reeled you in step by step, and they've gone, right, add in the noise of the bees and the birds, add in the noise of the grass, add in his whatever the noise he makes, add in the. But then let me finish. Movie, just record. I was going to say, like, because there's going to be a load of movie. There's going to be a load of movie buffs. No. Hang on. We're going to pick up on every single one of those Easter eggs and go, "This is so cool," even though the game is shit.
Okay, I would say the game is shit, but what I'm saying is I would probably play this for like a week and then I'd probably get bored of it. And that's my coming back to the whole thing of
50 quid, same price. That's my point. The same price as my AAA game that I've been playing online for a year and a half. The same way that people have been playing GTA 5 online for 12 years. Because... But you, even as a fan, you've gone, I'd get this for £50, and in a week I probably wouldn't play it again for another couple of years.
I know. I'd wait for this to come down to like £20, and then I'd buy it. That's my end kind of result of this is, like, you know, as much as a you know, film / game experience this would be. I wouldn't pay £50 for this, not at all.
And you know, even on my kind of like questioning you like a fucking detective there.
No, it's fine.
The full-blown Third Degree. I would buy this if it was 15 quid. I would. You know, the three of us could log in and have a, you know, play it once, you know, give it a go for 10, 15 quid. It's just, for me, it's just they're going to charge 50 quid for this game. And I think it's what we've experienced in the kind of games and the missions we played together. Am I right? What would you guys reckon? There's not going to be much. I think they'll probably add DLC, but it's all going to be a lot of the same, isn't it? Just variations on various, like...
So what I've heard as well is that they will be adding, like, the Dutch character, the Arnold Schwarzenegger character, from the original Predator as a playable, like, you can play. Or what they did in the original Friday the 13th is that Tommy, I don't know how much you guys know about Friday the 13th as a series, but Tommy was like the kind of I don't know what you want to call him, really, like the main guy who was against Jason Voorhees. In the game, there's basically a way that you can call Tommy in. When you die, you can call him on the radio and he'll come in as a kind of like, hey, I'm a super character type thing. I think they're going to do the same thing with this. So, you know, when you die in Predator, if you get killed in action, I think what will happen then is they'll bring in Dutch as like a kind of...
That doesn't improve, like, that's just more nostalgia for more DLC.
Of course.
I'm more talking about elements that improve the game. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You know what I'd really love in this?
Would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I love the fact that you can customize your soldier. You can heads paint, and you can give him headgear, and you can change this, that, the other. My thing of it was, like, if you were going to go balls out on this, you should have had all the characters from the original Predator film. You should have had Blaine. You should have had Mac. You should have had Dylan. You should have had Poncho. You know, you should have all these characters from the get-go. And although they have this kind of, like, very start off when the chopper comes in and your characters are going in, I would have liked to have seen, like, some rapport going on between these people. Like your in-game character, like, going, hey... I'm reading, you know, I go down on my woman, all that, you know, the kind of stuff from the original film. Did you hear me?
Yeah, is that a line from the film?
Oh, you know when, what's his name, Hawkins, like he's the kind of like the comedic character. He's talking about jokes to Billy all the time. He's like going, oh, when I go down on my girlfriend, she's like saying, oh, why so big, and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, totally, yeah.
I'm just basically saying that I would have liked that. They have like a pre-sequence before you drop in. I just wanted a little bit of like, hey, you know, just to get a bit of rapport with like your characters, just to give them a bit of life. I think that's what they're missing.
I have a feeling, like you've just said, you'll get that. You'll just have to pay for it, Tony. Yeah. 20 quid down. I think this is a DLC type game as well. Like,
oh, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. That's another thing that bugs me the fuck out as well. The first thing you do.
Go on, please, Tony.
No, the first thing you do when you log on. What's the first thing you see when you log on? Digital download exclusive.
Yeah, and you have to go past that every time. Yeah. Basically, do you want to buy the game? Yeah.
Do you want to buy this stuff? Fuck off. No, I don't. I don't even want to see that shit. Loot boxes have had their fucking day, mate. Get away.
But that's not even loot boxes. It's
just not loot boxes. It's
the two versions of the game you can buy.
I know. I don't want to see that on my first screen and every screen that when I come out of the game. I don't want to see that.
You've been telling everyone for the last 32 minutes of recording that everyone should buy this game, Tony. So you're going to do the same.
I wasn't saying that. I was just saying.
I think you said that quite vehemently. You definitely said that.
Yeah.
I appreciate what Illphonic have been doing, and I like what they're doing, and I hope they continue with this kind of stuff. And I want to see them expand, and I want to see them. And the only way they can do that is by people buying this. But at the same time, well, let me know your thoughts. I've spoken enough. Let me tell. Like I heard Brendan. I haven't heard much from Mike.
As I said earlier on, I do enjoy the game. The price point's the only thing I have to question on it, because that's. If it's an expensive game, if it's as you say, Cat A priced game, I'm not interested at all. There's not going to be enough replayability for me. It will get boring quickly. I know what you said. Obviously, there's going to be everybody that would buy it simply because it's a Predator game and it ropes you into the nostalgia. I do it with every Transformers game, every Transformers film. I know it's going to be terrible. I still go and see it. I still put my money into it. But that's reasonably priced stuff. As Brendan said earlier, to put this in the same price bracket as the brand new Call of Duty or the brand new any GTA games or anything, things that you will be able to play for the entire year is ludicrous. And that's literally my final point on it. It's just going to come down to, if it's between £10 and £20, I'll buy it. But anything above that, I've got zero interest.
You see, I see this being like out on PlayStation. You know, like the free games that you get
next year.
Next year, yeah, definitely. Not this year, but
sooner. No, I see it sooner.
Maybe
just before Christmas.
Yeah. All right. Last question then, in regards to the Predator Hunting Grounds. Do you think that the game suffered or was good for having the demo out this weekend? For this trial weekend, do you think that was a good thing or do you think that was a bad thing? Because they could have not put a demo out at all.
So if no demo had come out for this game, I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't have known that it was coming out anyway, because I only found out about it when you messaged and said there's a beta. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. But putting it out, and like I said, I saw a lot of people on Twitter when we started to discuss it. They played one game of it and said, this is horrendous, and then they put it away. I feel like this has been a massive own goal, putting this game out in the state it is.
Brendan?
I think it was a good thing to put it out under the circumstances. I know I've kind of said maybe they put it out under the wrong reasons, but I think there's probably a lot of people who weren't going to play computer this weekend under the whole isolation scenario, who probably did download this and have an escape for hopefully longer than the person who logged in for one game and hated it and logged off. I think they have released this too early. What astounds me more is the April release date. That's an official release date. I don't think this game is ready based on what they've given us this weekend, but it was fun teaming up with you guys and playing a session with you. Whether or not that was more just the fact that it's cool to, we've all been in isolation, so the interaction and playing online is fun, I'm not sure. There were elements of the game I liked. Was it the right, in answers to the question, yeah, I think they made the right decision putting out a trial this weekend. Nice distraction, played a new game, may not have loved it, but wouldn't have played it otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll find that by putting up the beta trial, which, let's be honest, games these days can always have patches and stuff like that. Fair enough, but you kind of want the final product as much as it can be within, the release. You don't want to have to patch a game. In my
Tony,
opinion,
sorry to interrupt, because I know you're about to kind of wrap up on the subject, but I just want a quick question. Do you think that they might sometimes put, and this is a question to you both, but because my knowledge isn't the best on these type of things, but would they put out a version of a game that is on purpose? As an example, I'm going to use the graphics as an example. I think collectively the three of us would agree that this is not a PS4 quality graphic game. Overall, there are elements that are good, but there are elements that are terrible. Do you think sometimes they put that out as a trial or a beta on purpose to be bad, so that when the original version comes up, the reviews get bumped a little bit?
No well-respected developer would ever put out a game knowing it's bad. Okay. Fallout, was it 76? Typical example of that in terms of I don't even think they did it. Did they do a trial, Mike, on that? Can't remember.
I didn't get to play now if they did.
No, I think they did a demo, but Bethesda are notorious for releasing buggy games that then the mod community will then go in and essentially make their games better. And it's through free, they're basically getting free work done for them. But with Fallout 76, that was the kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. This is very different, though. As I said, Allphonic, I feel, have a passion for this kind of stuff. And no, they wouldn't put out, I don't think any developer would put out a demo of a game. Would they do it to kind of see how people react to it? Of course, definitely. And I presume
I'm thinking more for manipulation, and I don't necessarily. I'm just thinking more for kind of that bump on review day, as in we all know your kind of magazines and your kind of social media.
You're kind of going into embargoes now and stuff like that, because that's what basically happens.
Fingers crossed, once, our opinions get out there to the public and everyone's, listening to our genius, they start us, pre-released versions of games. But what my just assumption is that is there that possibility that, for the preview, we're going to give it a 6 because the graphics are terrible. But my God, in the 2 weeks before release, did they turn that into a 4K game and now it's an 8 out of 10 rather than a 6 out of 10? No?
Listen, no, come on. Listen, like with films, right? If there's an embargo, if they don't even have a press review, if they don't have if they have the embargo the day before it's being released, because that's the distributors are this is a bad film and we want as less bad press about this as possible. The fact that they've released this as a demo, look at the most recent Final Fantasy VII remake demo, okay? They're putting it out there because they want, of course, everyone wants that kind of pre-release kind of news feed. Everyone wants that pre-release kind of stuff that's going on. And in this respect for Predator, for example, Hunting Grounds, I think there are some good game mechanics here. I know there's a lot of flaws, and I'm hoping that this is a kind of game that is periodically updated in a good respect. And I kind of get the fact that will be the case. It may not be like the polished gemstone that people are expecting, and there are a lot of flaws and there are a lot of things that aren't right with it. However, for them to kind of turn around and like, I think it's more of a proud thing. It's like, look, we want this multiplayer game. We want the next Left 4 Dead. We want the next.
I'd say I'd make it easy. My final note on Predator Hunting Ground would be, I agree with everything you just said right there. They do have the basis and almost the beginning structure of what could be a really good game. They need to keep working on it. They need to work, I would say, mainly on the gameplay mechanics. The kind of, that would be my first, because that's what we most enjoy, is how a game plays. They've got nostalgia. They've ticked the nostalgia points at the moment. If they could get at least the gameplay mechanics down, this is the start of something that could turn out to be really good, and something that even me, as a non-first player or first person player, would possibly give it a go now and again. Playing with you guys, because of but if they could improve the mechanics, they're at a starting point where this could be the start of something really, really good. Completely agree. And fingers crossed.
And Mike?
I just agree with Brendan, absolutely there. Like I said, I don't even know how to describe it. I've just really enjoyed this game, but like I said, I'm just going to be quite annoyed if it's really expensive.
Yeah. Let's, hopefully, maybe they will do a Sonic. Maybe from feedback that they get from this weekend of like the demo, maybe they'll go away and say like, hey, we were planning to release this at like $49.99. Actually, we're going to release it at like $30.99 or something like that. I don't know. And then after a couple of weeks after its release, maybe they'll turn around and go like, look, now you can download this for free, download that for free. I don't know. I'm a bit hesitant to think that will happen straight off the bat. As I said, I think this probably will be a game that you see next year as a kind of like free to download off the PlayStation. Was it PlayStation Plus?
To interject you there, sorry, I can see this being very much like No Man's Sky. It will have, even no matter what the beta's been like, it will have a lot of fanfare when it is finally released.
Yeah,
people will get home and they'll start to analyze it again, and it will just quickly end up on a shelf. They'll see on the servers that not many people are playing it, and then like you said, it will just become either a cut price game in the shops, or worse still, or better still for some players, it will just be a free game that you get. And come on, let's be honest. Out of those free games you get 2 a month. How much do you play them? And even if you play them, you might play them for a month.
Yeah,
and then that'll be it.
See, that's with these type of games that are like session type games, i.e. you have 5 people in a room. It's like a battle royale or whatever the fuck it may be. There was something about Left 4 Dead, for example. I always put Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2 as my pinnacle, because I always came back to that game. I always came back for another round. There was something about that just made me want to play it again and again and again and again. Now, with Predator Hunting Grounds, I would play it for, as I said, I'd probably play it for like a couple of, maybe a weekend, maybe with with you guys. But would I play it with Joe Nobody times 4 for like a week? Maybe not. Unless that team were like very communicative. It's a very communicative kind of game, because when you have like a stalker, or you have like a kind of, in this essence, inverted commas, a predator that you have to kind of like look out for, and you have to be like, you need to communicate with people. And the thing about playing online is that sometimes people don't want to talk. Sometimes people don't want to really kind of say, hey, that guy's out there he is, drop some ammo, here's my health pack, all this kind of stuff. So it's that kind of game that kind of either fails or wins on the community that's based around it. And at the moment, from what I've been playing thus far, as you said, like, I like playing with you guys because, you're my friends and I like playing with you and stuff like that. If I'm playing with Joe Nobody or that person, and I'm sort of going, hey, he's over there, and I'm not getting any reaction, why am I going to bother? So we'll see. So we're going to wrap up the Predator Hunting Grounds feed there. And hey, this has been Inside Your Screen podcast. Check us out on YouTube at Inside Your Screen. Check it out on Twitter at Inside Your Screen.
And we do have a website in development. It's on the way. We're going to have a kind of, in the next week, we'll probably have a coming soon screen.
Is it a AAA website, Brendan?
Is it a what? Sorry,
I said, is it a AAA website?
Is it a what? Sorry, Tony?
AAA website.
This is more than a AAA website. We don't mess with A's here. We just mess with numbers, and we're the number one.
A quadruple.
No, I didn't mention. I didn't mention any fours. I just said
numbers or anything.
No.
Wow.
No. If you pause, I just said we only deal with numbers, and we're the number one.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to our rambles, and we hope to see you next time on Inside Your Screen podcast. I've been Tony, Mr. Selfie.
I've been Brendan Broken Hand 1899.
And I've been Mr. LFC Prime, Michael.